So on the back of the success of my Nitro Stout series, I've been given 2 more options out there in the brewing world. Jet Black Heart and Roaster Coaster. So ready for a bonus part 4 up next of 2 beers for the price of 1. Actually, I got them free, full disclosure. So they were sent to me by Brewdog, but I am going to be as honest and real as it gets. So these 2 beers are up next. Let's get it on. Hey, welcome back to Views and Brews. I am Brendan, and here are 2 more Nitro Stouts. They're both, as I understand it, well, this one I know because I've had a couple of times, but I think they're both with the fixed widget in the bottom, the same way O'Hara's have done it, the same way a lot of new, I'm noticing newer, more modern breweries are doing it. So yeah, I'm not really sure why modern breweries seem to be going with the fixed widget in the bottom of the can versus, you know, the older traditional breweries having the floating ball in the top of the can. Maybe it's something to do with, you know, licensing. Now, I was given these by Brewdog Dublin in their Outpost, which I'm dying to get down there to see. I will get down there. It's been a bit of a running joke in my beer club, the Midlands Beer Club, because we set up an event page just before COVID happened. And the big picture on the front of the event page was Brewdog Dublin Outpost, which is where we're all dying to go. You know, for all the criticism and all of the, you know, shenanigans, you know, Brewdog, you know, are doing some fantastic stuff around the world. They've got about 100 bars opened up around the world. So, you know, they're introducing craft beer absolutely everywhere they go. And, you know, even for this beer here, I've had it 3 or 4 times at this stage. Fantastic beer. This beer, this one, I got confused by this Jet Black Heart because I remembered having it a few years back now and saying to myself, okay, that's Jet Black Heart, whatever. But now it's Nitro, and I didn't really realize that I hadn't had the Nitro one. So this is going to be a new one for me. So originally it was in bottle and it was 4.7%, and I've got it written down here, it had Magnum and Sriracha Ace in it. So now it's not even brewed in Scotland, it's brewed in Ohio, and it has Chinook hops in it, and it's 6%, and it's served on Nitro. So arguably a completely different beer altogether. So I'm excited to try that one. I can't for the life of me remember what it was like in the bottle. They all sort of blur into one beers after a while, but I am really interested to know, you know, and I'm going to do these 2 together because I want to know what the difference is in a 9% and a 6%. There is similar malt going on in each of these. There is vanilla flavour going on in each of these. There is cacao or cocoa nibs, whichever way you want to say it, going on in each of these. This one has coffee, this one does not. And I think maybe they both have oats in them. I'm not really sure. One thing I do notice about the canned Brewdog beers, and a lot of cans that have this really small print on it, it's very difficult to read anything on it, especially in the darker areas of the can. This one has oats. Let me see, does this one also have oats? I'm not sure if I can find it. Oh yeah, it's in the small print as well. This one also has oats. So my feeling is that these 2 beers are going to be similar in their base. This one just amped up. And then this one's going to go off on a tangent with the coffee. So let's get them open, let's get them into the glass, and let's see what they look like. I've got an American, is it a 16-ounce pint glass here? Yeah, 1 US pint, and for this one, I just had my nice Hope glass. Any excuse to use my Hope glass, so that's going in there. I'm going to pour, I'm just going to pour them at the same time, and So I've learned what I'm reading from the master brewer of Guinness is that in their Guinness cans, their widget, you're supposed to let that widget ball just go around a bit before you go pouring it immediately into the can. But there is a bit of contradictory advice out there as well. The first thing I can say is the surge on this is fantastic. Now, I'm not sure how much of that surge you can see, but it's only still at the bottom of my bottom of the glass where my fingers are. It's making a beautiful cascade down the side of the glass, so that is already going to be a good start. Obviously, this is 9%, so I'm going to get a thicker, heavier, denser beer, so that surge is going to last longer, which is another good reason to pour it just before this one. So let's let the... Yeah, this one is going to be different. This one is going to be thinner. But I can see that there is a huge amount of surge in the pour of this one as well. It feels weird pouring a beer that's so much foam to it. Oh, but look at that. I mean, this is what this is what I was saying with the Guinness glass, You want the pint to go to the top of the glass. Look how much more visually appealing that is in a glass that is designed for it. These are 402 milliliters as well. They're not 440 ml cans. So I think that's to do with them being brewed in America. This one's certainly America. This is a collab between Brewdog and Evil Twin Brewing that started off in Denmark, Copenhagen. They have a brewery in New York. And I think this was brewed in Columbus, Ohio. Getting a bit confused there, but there is detail on the back of this one, so I'm going to read it. Columbus and Copenhagen twin for a wonderful milk stout. They're both milk stouts as well, so bear that in mind. A transatlantic road trip uniting the States and the Kingdom. Buckle up for a bittersweet ride, darker than Evil and smoother than a late show host. Chocolate, bitter, espresso, and vanilla aromas. Well, I expect that espresso to be tamed down in this because the nitro dulls all those flavors. It dampens the flavors down. Right up front, closely tailgated by a roasty, nutted note. Oats and wheat round things off with the nitro delivering a supersonic smooth ride, roaster coaster ride again. Yeah, and then it goes on explaining Evil Twin Brewing. And look, I can leave them settled there and they're not going anywhere. That's the difference between these milk stouts. Left-hand nitro milk stouts did the same. They just sit there like statues. They're mannequins. They're not even moving. Like it's such an appealing thing to the eye to see that dark and then the white sort of cappuccino layer on top of them, and it's just not moving anywhere. This one proudly says it's brewed in Ohio on the front. Vanilla oatmeal stout. What does it say on it? Jet black heart, vanilla oatmeal milk stout, and then it's got all of this writing that you need a magnifying glass for. So what I've done is I've taken down a bit of detail from online, which I wish was on the can. But anyway, it's black malt, brown malt, carafa malt, which I love, by the way, oats, pale malt, wheat malt, medium crystal, so something like crystal 30 or crystal 40, or maybe crystal 20, I'm not sure. And then extra dark crystal, which is crystal 120. So they're going to get a little bit of burnt, roasty notes coming off of that jet black heart. I'm going to notice it more because it's 6% versus the 9%, which has the coffee in it. Let's see what they're like. Let's just give them a crack. What is anything else in here that I haven't got? Jet black heart is Chinook, yeah. Not sure what the hops are in this, but it's not meant to have any hop character to it. So I'm expecting hop character from Chinook. Chinook is fantastic, bitter in hop, great for dark IPAs, great for dark Cascadian ales, and also for nitro stouts and the like. I'm going to start with the 6% one because I'm not sure what it's going to be like. Cheers, Slancha, and thanks for sending me on these beers. Roasty cereal, milk chocolate due to the fact that there's dark malt and lactose, obviously. and cocoa nibs as well in there. Very pleasant on the nose. There's that lactose coming through, but nice bit of vanilla coming in there as well, and a bit of chocolate and a bit of malty cereal and a twinge of roastiness as well. Let's give it a go. Much the same as the left-hand nitro stouts. The canned one, if I remember now as well. All of that carbonation that comes from the nitrogen has gone into the head, making this super, super creamy, thick, velvety, silky, smooth. It's all the enjoyment is in your mind is evolved from the idea that you're drinking something very creamy. But when you actually taste the beer underneath, all of the carbonation has gone into the head, and you're left with quite a flat beer underneath. Now, if that's your thing, then you're going to absolutely love this. Yeah, and if you swish it about in the mouth, a bit of carbonation comes out. But it's super, super thick, velvety, chocolatey. It's decadent. It's kind of rich, but the richness has been restrained and sort of smothered a bit by that nitro element to it. That's what nitrogen does for a beer, and I kind of like it. If you know you're going into the beer like that, I would expect the bottled version that isn't nitro to be really sort of in your face, chocolatey, and quite, some bursting aroma and flavour going on. But this is just a smooth. It's so mellow, very, very nice. Chocolate, lots of chocolate going on. Yeah, restrained roast, but there is roast in there, but it's just kept really mellow. It's all of that kind of, cold cappuccino idea. Mocha cappuccino, that's where this sits. The head on this one is slightly tinged a bit darker. Maybe there's a bit more malt in it or something. Or maybe I'm just seeing a bit more nitro go into the head of this one because it's 9% and it's holding more of a thicker, creamier head. I really like the fact that this doesn't taste like a heavily flavoured stout. A lot of these pastry stouts go right over the edge for me, and I'm starting to find that as a style, pastry stouts now, I think I've just about had enough of them, in fairness. I've tried quite a few from multiple different breweries, and they're just becoming sickly. And then when you get these flavourings added and adjuncts added to the brew, they tend to be like, it's more about the fun and the gimmick element to it. What I'm getting from this that I do like is that the lactose in it isn't anywhere near as strong as the left-hand nitro lactose. So I'm enjoying this a lot more than I did the left-hand version. I like it. I like it a lot. I like the 6% ABV in it as well. Yeah, and actually, the more I drink that, the more I'm so glad that they haven't gone over the top with the lactose, and they haven't gone over the top with that vanilla flavouring. I think that is spot on. That is my view on this brew. Jet Black Heart. I'll stand by it. They do come under a bit of criticism. Look, this is what happens. The bigger the business get, the more people take pot shots at you. That's just the way of the world. I remember when I first became head chef, I asked an older head chef to come and see the business where I was working. I asked him for advice, and he showed me, a couple of things that he would change. But he said one thing is like, don't take anything to heart, because when you're at the top, there's nowhere else for you to go but down. And even in a small business. And that's, kind of what happens at night, Brewdog. there are a couple of beers that, the Punk IPA, you can talk about that for ages and say we like the original recipe versus, the slightly low ABV and different hopped newer version. But it's a global business. I understand why they do that kind of thing. But this one here, go and get this beer. I'll stand by it, and I don't care if I don't like a beer, I'll say it straight to the camera. In a constructive way, of course, but I really, really like this beer, and I've got another can in the fridge, so I'm delighted about that. That's nice. That's really, really nice. It's not menacing with the milk lactose element. That's what's key for me. That's what's winning the day for me. And this poor fella's been sat here at 9%. Quietly minding his own business, and it hasn't moved a fraction of a millimeter. And had it been a pint of normal nitro stout at 4%, I'm sure that there'd be a bit of deterioration. But these things, they just sit here like they're just like painting. It's amazing. Absolutely. Looks fabulous. The cream, you can't see this, but the cream is sticking to the side of the glass so thick. It's like about 2 millimeters thick. It's fantastic. Looks great on top. Of course, you've got that really sort of beige, heading into kind of mocha cappuccino territory on top again. Let's have a little go and see what this is like. Similar to Jet Black Heart, but there's coffee as well. The coffee, doesn't matter what you do with coffee really, because if you put it into a beer that's nitro, that's 9%, and that has vanilla in it, and that has lactose in it, and that has cocoa nibs in it, has all of those. I think it has all of those, but it has oats in it anyway. You're going to have a more mellow outcome to your coffee. Vietnamese coffee, I don't care really where the coffee comes from. Hopefully it was fair trade and all that. Nitro Imperial Vietnamese coffee stout, Brewdog versus Evil Twin. Yeah, another 402 milliliters. Let's give it a go. Smells good. Smells sweet. Cheers. Also, both of these beers, they are black. I'm struggling to get any twinge of coloration on them at all. Now, the oats will have made them blacker because it would have made them a bit more murky, a bit more protein rich. But let's talk about this beer now. And quickly so, because I think my camera's about to run out of battery. Low carbonation levels, again, the same as JBH. All of it's in the crema on the top, is what you can basically say about this beer. Nice, mellow, smooth. It says espresso. I think espresso is perhaps not the best choice of words. I think, it says bitter espresso. Is that bitter? Yeah, after the stout goes, the coffee stays. So the beer you drink, you get all the flavour of the beer, you get the vanilla, you get the milky element to it as well, and you get the malts. But after that goes, the coffee lingers on. So I get where they're coming from with espresso, but to me, it kind of amalgamates with the rest of the beer and comes across more as, milky cappuccino, but with a stronger coffee in it. So maybe not milky cappuccino, maybe a bit more mocha with a shot of espresso in it, perhaps. Let's have another taste. A lot of sweeter malt going on in here. It's got more ABV to it, so I notice it in comparison to JBH. And the vanilla is good. It's not over the top. And I'm happy about that. The milk stout element from the lactose addition, I'm happy about that too. Not over the top as well. This is sold in Tesco's, which is crazy when you think about it. Here in the Republic of Ireland, you'll never get, well, you probably will, but we're slow on the uptake in our big supermarkets, which for me is a good thing because it means that I can spend more of my money in an independent off license, which is where I like to put all of my money because they put the effort in, and supermarkets are dragging their heels behind them. But this beer, I mean, as I'm drinking it, there is carbonation coming up here, but you can't taste carbonation because it's dense, thick, and creamy. And the carbonation is those smaller nitrogen bubbles that don't burst on your tongue. Carbon dioxide is inside the beer, so when it hits your tongue, it's actually bursting out with the flavors and the aromas, and you get a prickly sensation. You don't get that with nitrogen, so maybe there's plenty of carbonation in here, but your perception of it is that they're both flat beers, but they're not really. It's just that these are nitro beers. Let me see. High ABV, 9%, very experimental, nice coffee. I like them both. Do you know what? I'll stick my neck out and say they're both fantastic beers. And like I said, I have been given these by Brewdog, and very easy for me to sit here and say they're both fantastic beers because I was given them, but I will put my hand on my heart and tell you I would happily buy pints of these. Perhaps not this one at 9%, but that's it. It's Sunday afternoon. I can smell my dinner in the kitchen. It's time to turn the camera off and go and eat and then drink the rest of these beers a bit slower than I'm consuming them currently. Cheers, sláinte, and it's on to the next one. Bye bye. That was the bonus round of Nitro Stout.